welcome to Insider Tips. In today's Insider Tip, I'm going to talk about your website design. If you haven't done so yet though, I want to make sure you've checked out the post-COVID-19 action plan for hospitality properties. It's really important and you need to check it out. You can do this at keystonehpd.com/post-COVID-19 action plan. In this age of internet and social media, having a website is essential in developing your property's brand. It's fine to promote your property in the flesh and with traditional media, but if you don't at least have a website, you're going to be seen as old-fashioned and unapproachable. The look of your website will influence potential guests on the type of property you are. If your website looks dull and boring, your potential guests will think your property is dull and boring. If your website is fun and vibrant, your potential guests will think your property is fun and vibrant. Your website should tell your story and tell your story proudly. And if your guests feel like they're part of that story, they will help build your brand into a big name. Whether you're starting from scratch, rebranding your property, or just doing a little retweaking, in the next few Insider Tips, I'll go through a few items for you to consider for your website today, starting with your domain name. Your domain name should be your website name. When marketing your property, the first thing you want people to think of is your property's name. And almost 100% of the time, when people are searching for your property, they're going to search by that name. What are better, short or long domain names? Studies have shown that a domain name should never be longer than 67 characters, and I would include spaces in that count. Shorter domain names are easier to remember and easier to type. For example, kingsin.com. Longer domain names can be easier for the brain to remember, especially if it flows. For example, the Storybook Forest bedandbreakfast.com. I would highly recommend staying away from hyphenated names. If you wish to market to international guests, I would highly recommend trying to get a .com domain extension. But if it's not available, .net is okay. If your property is only hosting local guests within your country, then try to get your country's domain extension. For example, Canada.ca, Germany.de, Australia.au. Well, that's it for today's Insider Tip. Subscribe if you haven't done so yet and join one of our groups. We want to talk to you. You can subscribe at keystonehpd.com/insider-tips. And to find your best group option, visit keystonehpd.com/private-groups. Well, that's it for today's tip. Until next time, have a fun day.